sure she's going to sound as good as she always looks. WWE diva Kelly Kelly.
We had Kelly Kelly on earlier, so I guess we had a blonde who was petite sexy. Now we have a gray big sexy and Kevin Nash. Kevin, how are you?
I didn't want to be popcorn after Kelly, so.
We got the headbangers. Fellas, how are you?
Happy to welcome Hall of Famer Bret the Hitman Hart. Pleased to be joined by WWE superstar Alex Riley. We're talking to legendary Dominic DeNucci, franchise Shane Douglas. Shane, how are you?
The following contest is scheduled for a 2-hour time limit. Introducing first, coming from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, wrestling reporter and columnist Justin LaBar. And his opponent, you. Call, tweet, email because you can go one-on-one with Justin LaBar in Wrestling Reality. Right now on Trib Live Radio.
Well, Brock Lesnar is reportedly going crazy. The ECW originals are dropping like flies. And the Bella Twins are no longer with the WWE. Has the world gone mad? Or is all right with the world? We'll talk about it all here. Wrestling Reality on Trib Live Radio. I am your host, Justin LaBar here. Wrestling Reality presented by Tailgaters Bar and Grill here in Pittsburgh. A ton of stuff to talk about coming fresh off my Chicago trip at Extreme Rules. Got a lot of stories to talk about that. A lot of news coming out of that. And, of course, last night's Raw. The past 48 hours in WWE, chaotic, but I think it's been pretty good programming. So let's get right into it. Last night's Monday Night Raw from Dayton, Ohio, a place that has seen a lot of good Raws. I mean, there are a lot of good WWE programming. I always remember 93, King of the Ring. Bret Hart wins there. Jerry Lawler attacks him. That was also where Dayton, Ohio, where Bret Hart came back to WWE on Raw, January 4th of 2010. So Dayton, usually in store for some good programming. We start Monday Night Raw starring Brock Lesnar. I think it's a good move, taking one of his demands in that contract negotiation. And it's one of the ones that is visible by the audience and actually doing it. You know, we're not going to see him in a limo or see him in private jet, or we could, but we didn't. But I like the starring Brock Lesnar. Lesnar and Laurinaitis start off the show. Triple H comes out. He says no more jets, no more limos. That contract is void, basically. That contract that you bullied John Laurinaitis for a week earlier. Triple H and Laurinaitis now begin to butt heads, and Brock Lesnar attacks Triple H. What a great job by making it look like a very real fight. Short, quick punches. Just a very accurate kind of struggle between the two. No over-the-top selling. Very good looking. The Kimura submission move looked great. The wrestlers coming out was nice. The suits, the security suits with the earpieces, kind of like subconsciously you feel like, Secret Service. The suits with the earpieces look like they would be protecting somebody or something important. I like it. Excellent, explosive start to Raw. Eve Lewinsky comes out and announces a Beat the Clock challenge will take place tonight to determine the number one contender for CM Punk's WWE Championship. That first Beat the Clock match will be The Miz versus Santino. Miz wins in 4 minutes and 18 seconds. The Bellas, both of them, Nikki and Brie versus Layla in a triple threat match, and it was the shortest triple threat match ever. Layla wins in just a matter of 6-7 seconds. I knew right when Layla won like that, the Bellas didn't re-sign a WWE contract. I knew April 30th was the last day for the contract. You knew as soon as they lost like that, they didn't re-sign, because if you're leaving WWE, you ain't going to look good. They're not going to let you look good. They're not even going to let you look bad for an extended period of time. They're not even going to let you, get punished for a long period of time in the ring, because they don't want the fans to get that invested or start to feel bad for you to get into you. They just wipe you out. Jericho versus Big Show in a Beat the Clock challenge. Jericho was supposed to win the match with a second or so to spare, but that doesn't happen through a botch, basically, between the ref trying to count both men outside. Jericho was supposed to slide back in. Didn't really work out too well. They come back from commercial. WWE basically changed the script on the fly, and they said, well, The Miz is still technically the Beat the Clock winner, because they realized that it didn't come off correctly in the Jericho match. But at the end of the night, it wasn't going to matter who won, The Miz, or who was in the lead for the challenge, Miz or Jericho, as we'll get to that in just a little bit. Brodus Clay against JTG. I didn't even know he was still around. Bring back Crime Time. Bring back Chad. Anyways, Clay gets the win against JTG, and I have to say, in Chicago this past Sunday when I was there, Brodus Clay, easily in the top 3 of biggest pops of the night. When the crowd heard the voice of the girls going, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. And that is what you're in business to do. Laurinaitis tells Eve he has an opponent for John Cena at the next pay-per-view, and John won't like it. We get Randy Orton versus Jack Swagger in a beat-the-clock challenge match. Orton gets the win 2 seconds faster than The Miz, so he's now the leader. Orton is at 4 minutes and 16 seconds. WWE Tag Team title match between R-Truth and Kofi Kingston challenging the champions Primo and Epico, accompanied by Rosa Mendez. You know, weeks ago I said during a Monday Night Raw and then on the show, I said that seeing Rosa made me want to learn Spanish. She was really growing on me. Well, in Chicago, ran into Rosa one night while I was out. We had a good career talk. Our group shared a nice stiff shot of Jack. But yet, I still can't speak Spanish. Beat the Clock Challenge. Kane versus a Great Khali. Oh, and by the way, Kofi and Truth took the tag titles, but, you know, I guess we'll see how much they actually defended or how much it matters. What's their team name going to be? The Booming Truth? Don't know. Beat the Clock Challenge, Kane versus Great Khali. Painful they made us watch this for over 4 minutes. Time expires. I go past the 4 minute 16 second mark, so that is a draw. Final Beat the Clock match, Daniel Bryan versus an opponent that we'll find out after a commercial about. All night I've been saying Lord Tensai. He's going to win the Beat the Clock Challenge. Been saying for weeks, Tensai against CM Punk once Punk was done with Jericho. I figured Bryan versus Tensai. It's 2 heels. That's fine. You have a face champ that they're competing to be the number 1 contender against, so it works. It would be quick, based on mostly Tensai's dominance. Maybe AJ, maybe Sheamus gets involved. Figured it'd be simple, but that didn't happen. Daniel Bryan versus Jerry the King Lawler. Like, why not Dolph Ziggler or somebody else that wasn't used? Bryan gets the win, and I'm a big Daniel Bryan fan, we all know this, but Bryan gets the win. So now Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk at Over the Limit. So I'm sure the illegal streams on the internet will be busy for that pay-per-view. John Cena and John Laurinaitis in the ring. Cena, impressive John Laurinaitis impersonations. Lord Tensai comes out. He and Sakamoto circle Cena. Laurinaitis attacks Cena. Vicious attack from Laurinaitis. All 3 go to town on him. Looked really good. It has been a rough 2 days for Cena physically. Laurinaitis versus Cena at Over the Limit. It is official. A lot of evidence of things changing last minute here in WWE in the last couple of days. CM Punk's challenger, John Cena's storyline, Brock Lesnar's WWE status, reportedly causing a big scene backstage. We'll talk about it all, plus the campaign for the Bellas as co-host begins. 412-320-7925 is the number. sportstalk@tribweb.com is the email. You can tweet me at Justin LaBar. It's Trib Live Radio Wrestling Reality presented by Tailgaters when we come back.